What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Mongol Show, sponsored by Roughneck Scarves. I'm Mike. With me is Kev, Josh, and Riverhound sophomore Danny Griffin. Danny, thanks for joining us in the live audience, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. As a reminder to everyone watching live, feel free to submit questions to Danny using the comments section on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, and we will pick the best ones to ask him later in the show. Danny, let's just get right into it, man. How was your off season?
It was good. I spent my time back home in Connecticut, so just spent a lot of time with family and friends, and then of course training and getting ready for the season.
Anything, obviously with COVID going on, there wasn't a ton that we could do, but were you able to get out and do anything fun? Any fun stories?
Nothing too crazy. Just obviously spend time hiking, stuff with my family, cousins. Just hanging out. Some of my cousins just moved back close to us, so they have kids, and was just watching them a lot and enjoying the time with them.
Do the kids like look at you and they're like, oh, that's like our cousin or our uncle that's like this famous soccer player? Is that how you're like looked at in your family?
Yeah, a little bit.
Nice.
Actually, he plays soccer now too, so he's always wearing a Griffin Pittsburgh jersey to practice.
Nice.
He's doing well, and his trainer is actually the same trainer that was mine when I was a kid there in Hartford. So he's enjoying that, yeah, and loves to have me around. And they miss me when I'm gone, but hopefully they'll see me at the game in Hartford as well. So it'd be nice to see them again soon.
That's awesome.
Nice. So yeah, let's get into your views on how the team's shaping up in 2021. Mike, you were quick with that video transition. I was not right. So yeah, let's get into your opinions on how the team's shaping up for 2021. I guess generally, I have a few kind of follow-up points and questions to guide the discussion, but the theme of it is how do you think this team this year is shaping up differently from last year, and maybe as a starting point, it looked like last time out against Indy, it looked like almost like a 5-2-3. It seemed like there were 5 dedicated defenders and fullbacks and wingbacks in the team with kind of 2 well-known midfielders, and then the front 3 up top. A, is that accurate? B, do you see that shaping up in the preseason and in training? And I'll stop there.
That's accurate. For the systems and formations we play, we do like to switch it up a bit, like depending on the team or who we're playing. Obviously, the coaching staff does their work and scouting, and will play a position in their system based off of that. But I think I'm excited for the group we have. Brought in some more experienced guys, mixed with some young guys, and good talent and good competition, and just ready and looking forward to that game in Tampa. I think it's a good mix, a lot of good pieces, new faces, but everyone getting familiar with each other and getting used to each other in the positions we take up, and it's fixing to be a good side, and I'm excited for what's to come of this season.
How do you balance that? Like you mentioned, a couple new players with a bit more experience coming in for their first season for the Hounds, but you kind of being here in the previous season, in a USL context, in a crazy way that it gives you some seniority around the club. How does that dynamic kind of balance out with, you being in your second year, but then these experienced players coming in for their first year at the Hounds?
It's just kind of just bringing guys in and making everyone feel welcome when they get here. I know, like you said, the transition in the USL, a little bit teams swap a little bit more. But yeah, just something that helped us is like when we all first got here a week earlier than preseason, we were all getting together and training on our own and playing pickup together, and getting familiar with each other, and I think that really helped us a lot as well. And just hanging out, whether it's back at the apartments or after practice around the downtown in the stadium, it definitely helped. And you become more familiar with each other and get used to just being around the guys. It definitely helps for sure.
I think something we always try to kind of talk about when we have player interviews is kind of highlight the fact that you're all humans outside of players. So I guess looking at kind of the humanistic team dynamic of things in the locker room, how would you say that kind of social kind of that social system plays out? Like who are the obvious team leaders? Who are the class clowns? Who likes to crack some jokes and lighten things up?
For our team leaders, I'd definitely say Kenny and Jordan. Those are guys who've been with coach for a while now, so know what to expect from him. And those were the guys that when I first got here, they communicated to me and made things a lot easier when I first arrived last year. So there's a respect there, and not only based on their abilities, but also just based on the way they carry themselves. They're both really great team guys. For the class clown, it's definitely going to be Ezra Armstrong. He's a younger guy on our team. He's definitely the class clown of the locker room.
Does Coach Lilly let that stuff go to a certain thing? Just in my head, I feel like he's so drill sergeant. Like,
yeah. When he's in the locker room, there's not too much joking around. Obviously, just it is pretty straightforward with him. But he has a good time as well, and he knows the guys and cracks jokes with the older, experienced guys. Know when to and when not to.
Yeah. And I guess, finally for me here, last year, Kenny told us that he had the best style at the club. You got like the New England influence, the New England style. Like, who would you say has the best style on the team?
I would like to say I'm pretty close up there, but I'll let Kenny have that. Yeah, he has a nice drip to him, and he does. I'll give it to him.
I gotta ask, because while we're on the topic of Kenny, okay, we had Coach on 2 weeks ago, and he was like, everybody thinks Kenny gets preferential treatment. Last week, we talked to Jordan, and Jordan was like, no, Kenny absolutely gets preferential treatment. So, Danny, where do you stand? Does Kenny get preferential treatment?
Yeah, I'd say he does. Definitely. But I mean, he's earned it, Yeah, he's definitely earned it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's had many years with Bob as the coach, and he has definitely earned it. So you have 1 year now with Bob, a full year. How do you think you've changed under his tutelage, his coaching style, like over that year?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say obviously the biggest difference is going from college to playing professionally is just like the speed of the game and the mental sharpness, not only with just your abilities as well, just playing quicker, and it's definitely a higher speed. So I'd say like the most I've playing for a coach. I think the biggest things for me was when I first came in was I was able to solve things with the dribble, and the biggest thing for me is to just that I've grown into is not relying on the dribble and just based on the positions I take up and my body positioning and being able to play at a quicker pace and a quicker tempo is definitely something I've improved on under him, and stuff that obviously he first was telling me when I first came in was just the speed of play and obviously making that adjustment, just doing what he says. And I think those are definitely the biggest ways that I've gone so far.
So you touched on the differences between pro and college. With those differences in mind, did you change the way you trained this offseason compared to what you did last year?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know last year I didn't have too much of off-season training just with when the college season ended and I graduated early. So then it was pretty a quick transition with combines and stuff and then going into preseason. But definitely this year, I train pretty much twice a day, except taking some days off on the weekends. And just what I did was just focused on obviously my fitness and all that, but also took the time. My morning sessions were pretty much all individualized with a personal trainer, just really just the technical side and working on different things specific to my position. I would do that for the first 2 hours, go home, eat lunch, and then my next session would probably be with my old academy team with some alumni guys and just getting to play with groups of guys and not only just yourself and just working on game fitness as well, because that's completely different than just working on your own fitness.
So now that you've had that year and you kind of see those changes between pro and college, are there anything you're telling the rookies coming in this year? Any words of wisdom you're departing on them?
Yeah, I mean, just to trust the process and also enjoy it as well. be confident. The guys coming in, they want to impact the team in the best ways they can. So, coach just really, really important that they listen to what coach is saying, because he's not going to point you in the wrong direction. He's been around this game for a really long time and been very successful. I mean, as all of us know, coming into this club. So, just really take in what he says and try and execute to the best of your abilities, because, when you grow like that as a player, you've seen players that have come out of Pittsburgh and the players that have played for him, like how well they do. And, there's definitely an aspect to really gain some knowledge from being here. And I certainly look to grow more and more each day.
That's awesome. I want to pivot from sort of talking about last season to this season. But before we do, I'm going to throw up this question here from Burger Brand over on YouTube. He says, "Hey, Danny, what's your best memory so far in the Riverhounds and in the city of Pittsburgh?"
Okay. My best memory so far would definitely be scoring in Hartford. It was nice to be in front of my family, because I didn't get to see them for a while since I moved to Pittsburgh and the quarantine and everything. So it was nice to, even though it was 20% capacity, I got to see a majority of my family from back home, my grandma and grandparents and everyone. So it was nice to get the goal there. And then my favorite memory in Pittsburgh is, I know with everything going on, you didn't get to see too much of the city, but definitely the view at Mount Washington. That was pretty cool, looking over the city and seeing our stadium down below from afar. It's a nice view, and really took in the scenery.
Yeah, you just alluded to it a little bit, the fact that you sort of came in, it wasn't really mid-pandemic, but it was pretty close. And so there's a lot in Pittsburgh that you haven't been able to do. Is there anything that you're looking forward to doing once sort of restrictions ease up a little bit? Anything the guys are saying, like, hey, you got to go check out this place, or anything like that?
I'd say I still haven't done the incline yet near our stadium, so I have to do that soon. But also, just guys have mentioned, like, we've seen like boats and different things out on the river, so definitely taking like a tour or something on those boats, like in between the stadiums, and really taking in the scenery there. That's definitely something I look forward to doing. I know now that things are opened up, there's some mini golf. Been doing that on the weekends just to get out there and enjoy that.
So wait, are you a golfer, or are you just a mini golfer, or both?
I'm definitely not a golfer, even though I like to swim. I will go out and play golf with some of the guys. Just still working on the consistency of my swing, but no, I enjoy being out there, and it's fun to do that sometimes. I just go to the driving range, or a couple guys in the team really like to do that. So
we were talking a little bit off air, and you mentioned how, you just finished cooking dinner. The guys like your food. Do you have a favorite kind of food, or has anybody recommended a good restaurant for you here in the city?
For favorite food, it's always been chicken parm, or actually, well, I like Peruvian food a lot. So because I'm Peruvian, my mom, that's all I eat when I'm home. Definitely like a famous dish would be like ceviche, or yeah, a lot of rice, vegetables, like that kind of thing. My buddy actually recommended a spot. I haven't been to a Peruvian restaurant here yet, but he said there's one near the Strip District. So I think that's one I'll have to try out.
Sweet, very good.
Yeah. So next week you guys travel to Tampa. What are away trips like with the Steel Army with the Riverhounds? And like, do you like get time to explore the city, or is it pretty much you're in and out and you don't really get to do much in the city itself?
Yeah, I mean, you won't explore it as much, but like you do get the time once we arrive and after training, to just you're on your own pretty much for dinner. So you and some of the guys will get to walk around a bit, find a nice spot to get a nice pregame meal. So I mean, during that time is where you really walk around, see a little bit, but then pretty much after that, it's back to the hotels, and you're there for business and you're getting ready for the game.
Because that's double up in the hotels.
We do, yeah, we double up.
So like, party rooms or anything like that going on in the hotel, or is it pretty much everyone is hunkered down?
I think everyone's hunkered down for the most part. Yeah, I wouldn't say there are any party rooms or anything. But
Not out loud, at least. Okay, got it.
I was gonna say, like, I could almost sense you being like, "Is Coach listening to this? Like, how much do I divulge here?"
No, it's pretty. For the trips we've had so far, obviously we've been on the bus and stuff, and once we got in there, you just really take in the scenery a little bit, and then it's just preparing for the next day. So guys just staying in their rooms, relaxing, resting the legs, whether it's getting treatment or watching some soccer when we can on the weekends. Now that Champions League is going and stuff.
I got a question that follows up on that. Who packs?
Are you gonna ask him about the Super League, Mike? Is that what you're
No,
gonna do?
no. That thing's dead. That's fine. No, I was gonna ask, like, thinking back to like old high school trips, even college trips, there was always that one player who brought a ridiculous amount of stuff on the bus into like the hotel room. Who's the player that's bringing like all the gaming systems or has way too much food, or like just that, if you're missing something, you go to that person because they definitely got it?
Probably Dikwa and Ezra. The first trip they had a big bag for food and stuff. So if you ever need some snacks on the bus, those are your guys.
Are there any like FIFA like tournaments going on when you guys are away, or is it just everybody hangs out and watches games?
Yeah, everyone just hangs out and watches games. No one's brought their system or anything yet, but I'm not going to put that away. It could happen in one of these trips. Not out of the equation.
I guess out of curiosity too, before I get to my next question, you don't have to divulge it if you don't want to, but like when you guys are watching games, do you have a team that you root for? Like what kind of leagues are you watching? Is it MLS? Is it European? Is it other USL games? Is it homework all the time? Like what are you guys watching?
Oh, definitely a lot of the English Premier League and Champions League, but watch MLS and USL games as well. Obviously, excited for the matchups tomorrow and Wednesday. I root for PSG, so hoping they get the win on Wednesday.
Nice.
Along the lines of traveling, Steve asked, which teams are you most looking forward to traveling to this season? So obviously, not only are you guys traveling within our division, but you do get to travel out west for at least one game. Are there any cities or towns that you've circled and you've said like, I'm really looking forward to going and playing there?
Definitely San Antonio. Looks like they have a nice stadium and a good setup there. So they've been successful in years, so that's definitely a good matchup that we want to have, and I look forward to. Another cool city would be Miami. I've only been there once before, so they're another team that I'm looking forward to playing as well, and another city as well. That'd be cool to travel to. In Charleston, I have a buddy of mine that I played with Academy Soccer that is on the team there, so it'd be fun to play against them.
So a lot of when we ask, or even coach even too, but a lot of the other players, like what's the goals and what are you most looking forward to in the season? A lot of them say like to win a championship. So I'm going to remove that answer from the possibilities of what you're going to say. Outside of winning a championship, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I assume that you want to win a championship and you think that we can. What are the most what's most exciting for you heading into the 2021 season?
As they're opening up like the fan capacity and stuff, just getting to really feel the presence. Obviously, we felt it with the signs and everything last year was amazing, but to really have the Steel Army in the stadium and all our supporters and just really feel their presence and the atmosphere, the great atmosphere that they provide. I look forward to that the most.
I guess like kind of continuing along that line. I mean, I think it's obvious, and we can kind of, as fans, guess and hope that like fans in the stadium have a large impact. But maybe can you speak a little personally about like what your personal experience is playing the game, contrasting, a packed Highmark Stadium and a playoff atmosphere versus, last year of just empty stands. What's that like for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, when you have the fans and you hear the drums and all the yelling and stuff, you get behind it, especially when you're playing at home in front of your fans. There's definitely more more put into it. I mean, I would say obviously you put everything out there on the field every time, but just feeling that presence and hearing the fans is definitely a different. I mean, you even watch some of the Champions League games and stuff right now, like where they're not having fans, and the difference is, with how it can be when you have a stadium full of people screaming for you. So that's just something I definitely look forward to having.
Before we get into sort of our last surprise question, I have one more. We were sort of tipped off earlier in the preseason that you were growing your locks out a little bit. Any challenges playing with longer hair that you weren't anticipating compared to last season?
No challenges. I actually just shaved the sides of my head just now, so I can tie it up completely now. So that's a little different. So it doesn't get in the way at all. But I've grown out the locks since last year.
You don't have any cases where it like whips you in the face and you're like, crap.
He's a professional athlete, Mike. I think
just asking.
No problems. I have it cut back, so it doesn't get in the way at all.
Nice. Very nice. So last week we had Jordan Dover on the show, and he knew you were coming on this week. So we said, hey, Jordan, do you have any questions that you want us to ask Danny? So let's see what he said here.
So ask him that. Say, Danny, why are you so nice to everybody? Like, because I like to consider myself a nice guy. I told you guys I think I'm a nice guy, but then it's like there's people in the world like Danny. Like, am I that nice? Like,
so Jordan's question is, Danny, how are you so nice all the time?
I don't know. I mean, I was just always taught that way as a kid. You treat the people the way you want to be treated, and it's a great group of guys that we have, and a bunch of jokesters on the team, but also guys that you want to fight for on the field to get results. So it's great to have that group, and I enjoy it a lot, and I'm excited for this year and excited for this opportunity, and I really enjoy being around the guys, and every day in training, every day even after the field, back at the apartments, just getting together. It's a good time and a good group. So excited for sure.
Jordan said that he likes to think of himself as a nice guy. Is Jordan a nice guy? Be honest.
I would have put Jordan as the nicest guy. He's always in a good mood in the mornings. When he walks in, brings energy for sure.
Awesome. Well, Danny, this was fantastic. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Let everybody know, where can they find you on social media? Where can they follow you? Plug your socials.
Yeah, mainly on Instagram. So Danny_Griffin 10. You can follow me there. Twitter, I don't know I think it's just Danny Griffin 04. But mainly on Instagram. So yeah, give me a follow and follow back.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Obviously, best of luck. You guys have one more preseason game this weekend and then kick things off in Tampa next week. So, man, we can't wait for it. It's going to be so much fun. Yeah. Best of luck, man.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. We'll talk to you later.
Take care. Later.
That was awesome. I think, Jordan was spot on. Danny seems like a legitimately nice dude. So,
even his answer was too nice. He was just gotta treat everyone nice. And
yeah. So thank you again to Danny for joining us. And thank you for those of you who submitted questions. That was great. Guys, a couple of other things just to sort of wrap up. This is, we alluded to it with Danny. This is the last episode until the Hounds start the regular season, which is crazy. Like, I feel like we always sort of work our way backwards. And I started looking at the schedule and I went, holy crap, we start next week. Now I know there are other USL teams that started this past week, but any thoughts heading into like our last show before the season starts?
Man, getting late starts is a blessing and a curse because I'm antsy for it when we actually play our first game. Because I watch the first game, was it 2 days ago, I think now? Or last weekend. Watched the first game of USL. So I was like ready to go. I'm like, oh man, we don't play this weekend. We don't play next weekend. We have to wait like 2 weekends in. So it's rough.
Yeah, for sure.
I think this has been the most excited I've been for a season, like in my entire Hounds fandom.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I think it's
look.
I
We sort of brought it up with Danny, and he sort of seconded that. There's a lot of formation changes. There's a lot of things going on there, but when you look at this team's attacking depth, which is something that, like, historically, I think you always sort of assume that a Bob Lilly team is going to be stout defensively, like that will click. So then it's how flashy and how potent are you going to be on offense? And yeah, when you look at the depth at forward, it just was announced that the Hounds acquired 6'1" striker Tommy Williamson from San Jose Earthquakes in MLS on a season-long loan. So this isn't like a back and forth bouncer, I would think. He was a 12th overall pick in this year's MLS Super Draft. Looking back at some of the other prominent loanees, and I feel like there's one more that I'm missing here, but there was Lawless Abubakar in 2017 that we got from Columbus, who played on defense, who was a house, and then he went and played for Columbus, and now I think he's with Colorado. And then obviously Zach Steffen was the other big name. Now, do we expect Tommy to then go off and get signed by Man City? Probably not. But, like, obviously there's some talent there. And so to get him at the last minute as an additional striker, in addition to, who we already had, these guys got to get minutes somehow. So, like, what are your thoughts on Bob maybe being a little bit more attack minded than, what we've historically seen? Kev, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I'm still reserving judgment about system of play, because I think Lilly has consistently put out the message, and I think we've seen evidence of it as well, that he'll play with the tools that he has in the team. So if that means he can be more attacking, if he has the resources to be more attacking, he has no issue being more attacking. He still demands everyone, including the forwards, to contribute defensively. But so I don't know. I'm reserving judgment about that until we start seeing it with our own eyes. But I mean, it's the entire system that has to click. I mean, he has to get the midfield balance correct to supply everything to the forwards and and wing backs and width and everything. So I think this season more than last, and maybe even since Lilly's been here, I think he has the most interesting and diverse set of resources at forward. I'll say at forward, and then stop there.
I think midfield's pretty deep as well. I think defense actually may be where we're the lightest right now. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Especially we have 2 weeks left to still sort of pick up players. But Josh, how you feeling?
Good. I'm really excited for this season. I feel like we're pretty strong team already as far as personnel we have. I do think we need to make a couple more pickups. And maybe in the defense is where we need it, just for depth at least. But overall, I'm feeling pretty confident in the way he's shaping the team, and also just in the fact that it feels like Lilly can work the defense to, like, massage it to work no matter who he has in there. Not no matter who, but obviously he's good at figuring out how to make that work. So having so many options in the front to kind of play with is going to be interesting to see what he's able to do with it. And I'm really hoping that we see an exciting, style from the Riverhounds this year. And I think as far as like the way the season looks, the people we're playing, it's going to be a possibility that we do show some really fun, attacking with the teams we're up against.
Yeah, for sure. I think I before we get together next week for sort of the last show before the season, I'm going to want to sit down and look at, what are our first 5 or 6 games, look at opponents, get a sense for that. But I do agree that I think the mix of veteran players with young, exciting players like Danny, I think is really kind of exciting, bringing in these established players who know the league. Yeah, man, this could be the year that the Hounds really do something special. So,
well, and if we it sounds so, I have no reason not to, but if we believe Danny in his interview, it seems like they're clicking, and it seems like they have a decent group of guys together who all vibe and gel off of one another, which is critical. I mean, I know we've heard stories in the past at the Hounds, as well as more readily in other clubs, bad social locker room dynamics can really disrupt things, and you can have all the talent in the world, but if people aren't gelling, and it doesn't matter.
Keep in mind, we're also coming off the heels of this pandemic, as far as getting people back into the stands, and that's going to be a boost. And that's going to be, even though it's it might not be full capacity right off the bat, it's going to be a situation where a year has been starved as far as that social interaction, that feeling in the stadium. So teams are going to play off of that. So I'm excited for this season for that reason too. It just kind of seeing how these teams react to a jolt of energy in the stadium after a whole year of not having that.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick before we get on to this last little bit, I'm Matt Polanski. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, man.
Find everyone here. And you know where you can find everybody on Wednesday. Well, at least all of those season ticket holders. If you are a season ticket holder, you should have gotten an invite. 2021, the virtual kickoff party is going to be this Wednesday night at 7 p.m. that the Hounds are putting on. As I mentioned, it's for season ticket holders, so your rep will contact you with the details, but the team has already said that Jordan will be there, Danny Vitiello will be there, Coach will be there. Hopefully we'll get to see this year's kits. So one last sort of big tease before the season actually gets started. Josh, you sort of look like maybe we won't see kits. Maybe.
No, I thought the kits that we're going to see are this year's kits. Do we have new kits? Do we know if we have new kits? I'm excited that's a possibility.
I don't know. Well, okay, so here, Preston was he put on Twitter sort of him taking the publicity shots, and it looked like the home kit is the same as last season.
That's what I saw.
We don't know about the away kit or potentially a third kit, so we shall.
Well, now
see.
I'm excited. I didn't know. I was just thinking we're going to get the same kits. So a possibility of
look, I mean, I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, the USL Championship keeps plugging it, but every team has these massive reveals for their kits. And I don't expect the Hounds to follow suit. We've never followed suit in that regard. It's very much we're down to business is what we're doing. We're not, who was it? Phoenix, had all their players line up in one of those giant Carvana, coin machine card dispenser things. And no, we're not doing that.
I'm pretty sure it was Vegas. Vegas did one year. Didn't they paint on the kits? They painted on the shirts on the players, their first season, like that.
Yes.
That sounds like Vegas.
Yes.
Only Vegas would have done
that. That's very Vegas. Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just making sure I got that right.
So
a fever dream.
No. So that's Wednesday, and then like we said, guys, next week we are going to be back here live at 7:30 p.m. to give you our season preview. Maybe it won't be season. Maybe it'll be first quarter, sort of look at the players, look at the teams. There's a chance that some of us might be able to go catch the game this weekend against Philly. It's open to the media, so we might get some firsthand look at how things are shaping up. We shall see. But for next week, send us your video questions and we will play them on air. And yes, I said video. So you guys may have noticed over the past few weeks, we've been able to pull up video from, last week. So we had Jordan's video in this one. If you just pull out your phone, turn it into selfie mode and record yourself asking a question, send it to us. You can either do it via Twitter or you could send it to us, mongols@gmail.com. We'll totally post it and play it on air, and then we'll answer your questions. So let us know what you think. You're also welcome to join us live here, obviously, just like everybody else at 7:30 p.m. So, guys, I think that's it for this episode. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about? Anything going on with the Steel Army, Josh?
No, we had the AGM. Talked about that last time. It's going to be a watch party / AGM. It's open to members. You should be getting a form to fill out to kind of help out the Hounds. We're going to do a test run of the ticketing system. So we're going to get tickets. They're free if you're a Steel Army member, and you can download, request so many tickets, and they'll give them to you, put them on your phone. And we're kind of going to help the Hounds do a dry run of what, ticketing with digital contactless, all that kind of stuff is going to be like for the staff. So yeah, I'm excited to, have the AGM, see all the Steel Army members, and also help out the Hounds with figuring out their logistics. So that way the first game is smooth.
Yeah, that's awesome. So cool. All right. Well, I think that is it for this one. Thanks again to Danny for joining us. As he mentioned, make sure you go follow him on Instagram and Twitter for sure. Thank you, everybody who's joined us live and who's listening to this via podcast. Remember, you can join us live on YouTube every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Join in the conversation, submit your questions, all of that. Head over to mongols.com. Click on.
Is this where we dodge logos?
Yes, this is okay. All right, it's coming. It's coming. This has become like a video game more for you guys than me. Head over to mongols.com, click on support the show to become a Patreon follower. Weekly reminder that Black Lives Matter. Here we go. You guys ready? Here we go. Thanks to our sponsor, Roughneck Scarves, official scarf supplier to USL, MLS, and US Soccer. Get custom scarves for your group or team at roughneckscarves.com. Tired of the same old uniforms and cookie cutter templates from Nike and Adidas? Looking for a unique, completely custom kit for youth club, Sunday league, squad, adult, or even pro team? Icarus FC can help you create the kit of your dreams at an affordable price. Let them help you design your new custom kit today at icarusfc.com. Looking for more great USL news? Head over to bgn.fm, where we've now got over 100 fans that are writing and podcasting about the beautiful game. Lots of great features went up on the site this week. Check them out at bgn.fm. I just have to say, for all of those of you who are just listening and have never seen this, what's actually happening right now is as I am reading these plugs, I am also trying to put images on the screen, and they don't take up the whole screen. So Kevin and Josh are having fun, like bouncing around behind them and trying to, and nobody.
That's all I got.
You can't see it. That's all I got. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you very, very soon.